So what happens when a green tech company, one designed to help save the EV revolution, makes a pivot so wild it leaves the entire market scratching its head? Well, that's the story of ZOOZ Strategy, and it's how their balance sheet became one of the most fascinating and frankly riskiest case studies out there today.
And that really brings us to the big question we're digging into here. What exactly is ZOOZ Strategy now? Is it still that innovative green tech company it was founded to be? Or has it morphed into something else entirely? I mean, think about it. On one side, you've got this incredible mission, this brilliant piece of engineering meant to power the future of electric vehicles. And on the other side, the stark reality of 2025, a corporate treasury almost entirely staked on the future of Bitcoin. So, how on earth did a company built on mechanical flywheels end up betting everything on digital crypto?
Okay, so to really get this, we've got to go back to the beginning, back to the original promise. See, the company wasn't always about digital assets. It was founded on a genuinely innovative piece of tech designed to solve a very, very real-world problem. You see, ZOOZ was originally built to tackle a huge problem in the EV space, grid bottlenecks. The best way to think about it is like this. Trying to get ultra-fast EV charging from our current power grid is like trying to drink an entire river through a tiny straw. The infrastructure just can't handle that massive sudden surge of power. So, what was ZOOZ's brilliant solution? It's called the Kinetic Power Booster, and its elegance is really in its simplicity. First, it just sips power slowly and steadily from the grid, so there's no stress on the system. Second, it stores all that energy by spinning a heavy flywheel at unbelievably high speeds. And finally, and this is the cool part, when a car plugs in, it releases all of that stored kinetic energy in one massive, instantaneous burst for a super fast charge. So basically, this flywheel becomes a power amplifier. It's a way to get next-gen charging right now without having to wait years and years for these incredibly expensive and complicated grid upgrades. A truly clever solution. But here's the thing. A clever solution doesn't always equal a successful business. And boy, did that clever solution run headfirst into a brutal financial reality. This is where the story completely flips on its head. Get this, that core flywheel business, the entire reason the company even existed, brought in just $247,000 in revenue for the whole year.
I mean, that's a jaw-dropping 76.3% collapse from the year before. But honestly, the scarier data point is this. They sold zero, not a single flywheel system in the entire second half of 2025. The business basically flatlined. So what happens when your revenue dries up like that? Well, you get a net loss of $55.6 million for the year. The company was just hemorrhaging cash with almost nothing coming in from its main operations. Okay, so picture this. Your main business is facing what analysts were calling a commercial dead end. What do? Well, in July 2025, ZOOZ made one of the most radical pivots you'll ever see. They officially decided to adopt Bitcoin as the company's primary treasury reserve asset. And look, they didn't just dip a toe in to test the waters. Oh no, they went all in. By the end of the year, ZOOZ was holding over 1,000 Bitcoin, which they bought for almost $122 million. This was a classic bet-the-company move, funded mostly by private placements. And just like that, the company's entire identity was wiped clean. Analysts started calling ZOOZ a zombie company. You know, its original industrial body was just stagnant, but it was being animated by this huge pile of Bitcoin. It wasn't a tech manufacturer anymore. It was, as one report so bluntly put it, a leveraged Bitcoin ETF shell company. Now, obviously, a move this big comes with a whole new set of massive risks. First, you've got the obvious one, volatility. The company's entire net worth is now at the mercy of Bitcoin's wild price swings. Then there's regulatory risk, and you really need to pay attention to this one. If regulators ever decide to classify Bitcoin as a security, ZOOZ could get tangled up in some seriously crippling laws. And finally, custody risk. Their assets are held by third parties, which creates exposure to hacks or, their custodian going bust. So that brings us to today, and ZOOZ is standing at a massive crossroads here in 2026. What happens now? Where do they even go from here? Well, if you read their own annual report, the company says it's exploring strategic alternatives for its original flywheel business. Now, we all know that's corporate speak for we have no idea what to do with this thing. They might try to sell off the patents, maybe the whole division. Who knows?
And honestly, you have to wonder if they could even revive that business if they wanted to. The team has just been gutted. They went from 50 employees at the end of 2023 down to just 9 by the end of 2025. I mean, can a team of 9 people really support, let alone grow, a super complex industrial tech business? It seems unlikely.
So if you're keeping an eye on ZOOZ in 2026, here are the 4 key things you absolutely need to watch. First and foremost, the price of Bitcoin. That's the big one. Second, their cash burn rate. How fast are they spending what they have left? Third, any whispers or news about them selling off that flywheel technology. And fourth, what are the regulators in the US saying about digital assets? That could change everything overnight.
And all of this leaves us with the one big provocative question, right? Is this great pivot a visionary masterstroke, positioning ZOOZ perfectly for a new digital economy? Or is it just a desperate last-ditch gamble by a company whose original dream just failed to materialize? I guess only time will tell.